Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a problem that, honestly, keeps security leaders up at night. It's a simple question, but the answer is incredibly difficult. What is actually on my network?
So let's start with the golden rule of cybersecurity, a simple truth that every single security leader lives by. It sounds so obvious, right? But as you're about to see, this one little sentence is the root of a massive, super complex problem for pretty much every organization out there.
What we're talking about at its core is something called an asset inventory. Now, this isn't just some boring compliance checkbox. It is the absolute bedrock of your entire security program. Yeah, in theory, making a list sounds easy, but in reality, it's one of the toughest jobs in the industry today.
Okay, so why is this such a big deal? Let's really dig into why having this complete picture, this total visibility, is just completely non-negotiable for any kind of modern security.
I mean, just look at what this underpins. Every single core security function relies on it. You want to patch vulnerabilities effectively? Well, you can't patch a server you don't even know exists. You need to respond to an incident, and fast? Good luck if you can't see which machines are actually compromised. It even stretches to future threats, like being ready for quantum computing. You can't prepare for that if you have no idea what cryptography your systems are using right now. At the end of the day, without a complete inventory, you're just flying completely blind.
So why are so many organizations flying blind? Well, the real challenge here is just the sheer mind-boggling scale of a modern network. The number of devices and, this is the key part, the variety of devices we need to keep track of has just absolutely exploded.
And this just perfectly captures the new reality, doesn't it? It's not just about desktops in the office and servers in the data center anymore. No way. The modern digital landscape is this huge, sprawling, kind of chaotic and always changing ecosystem of connected things. I mean, really think about what's on your network. We're talking about cloud servers that can spin up and disappear in seconds. We're talking about industrial robots on a factory floor. One assessment actually found over 160 different kinds of smart devices in just one office building. I mean, everything from the thermostat to the coffee machine. And you've got to remember, every single one of those is a potential door for an attacker.
So, this explosion of devices creates what is, for all intents and purposes, a two-front war for security teams. They have to fight on the traditional information technology front, IT, and on the completely different, much trickier battlefield of operational technology, or OT.
And this really breaks down the two different worlds security teams have to juggle. On one side, you've got IT, information technology. That's the world you probably know best. Laptops, servers, cloud stuff. It's dynamic, it's chaotic, especially with remote work. But then on the other side, you have OT, operational technology. Now this is the world of physical machinery, the systems running a factory or a power grid. Here you're dealing with ancient, fragile systems that might crash if you even look at them wrong. They are two totally different battlefields.
And just to make that OT challenge a little more real for you, it is not at all uncommon to find critical controllers on a factory floor that are 30 years old. 30! These things were never, ever designed to be on a network. They have almost no documentation, and you can't just patch them or secure them like you would a modern server.
So what's the result of all this? The bottom line is that this lack of visibility across both IT and OT creates these massive, dangerous blind spots. It means organizations are, as the quote says, effectively flying blind. They just don't know what they're supposed to be protecting, which leaves them incredibly vulnerable. Okay, so how do we fix this? How do organizations even begin to try and find everything that's out there? Well, there are tools and techniques for sure. But as we're about to see, there is no single magic solution, no silver bullet.
To try and map this crazy territory, teams use a whole toolbox of different approaches. You've got active scanning. That's kind of like knocking on every digital door to see who answers. Then there's agent-based discovery, which is like putting a little security guard inside every device you manage. You can also do passive monitoring. That's more like being a spy, just listening to all the network chatter to figure out who's talking to who. And, sometimes it's as low-tech as it gets, a manual walk-around. Literally someone walking through a factory with a clipboard.
But here's the kicker. Every single one of those methods has a blind spot. Your active scans, they can't see a device that's turned off for the day. Those agents, you can't install one on a smart TV or an old industrial controller. And passive monitoring, it only sees devices that are actually talking on the network. There's just no single tool that sees everything.
So, since there's no magic tool that can fix this, the only real solution has to be a strategic one. This isn't just a technology problem you can buy your way out of. No, it's a problem of process, of collaboration, and frankly, of having the right mindset.
So, this is the blueprint for how to actually tackle it. It all starts with governance, knowing who's responsible for what. It absolutely requires breaking down those walls between the IT folks and the engineers on the factory floor. It also means you have to stop thinking of inventory as a one-time project. It has to be a continuous, living process. And most importantly, it means actually using the data you collect to take swift security action.
And this right here might be the single most important takeaway for any leader who's facing this problem. Look, you're never going to achieve 100% real-time accuracy. It's just not possible. But the goal isn't perfection. The goal is progress. Moving the needle from, say, 50% visibility to 90%, that can dramatically reduce your risk. Don't let perfect be the enemy of good.
Which really leaves us with this one final, critical question. You've got firewalls, you've got antivirus, but do you actually know what you're protecting? Because at the end of the day, your defenses are only as good as your map of the territory they're supposed to be guarding. Without a clear picture of your assets, you're not just flying blind, you're basically defending a ghost.